Growing anger inside Iran. As you may know, it looks like the re-election of the tyrant Ahmadinejad was fixed. 40 million Iranians voted, and just a few minutes after the polls closed, they announced the cutthroat had won. Ballots could not have possibly been counted that quickly, and they do not have exit polling in Iran. So demonstrators are fighting the police state in the streets, and the whole world is watching. Now, big question in America, what should President Obama do? If he openly supports the protesters, Iran could cause big trouble for the USA in Iraq and Afghanistan. Both countries border Iran. But there may be a major opportunity here to overthrow the terrorist mullahs. So that is a dilemma. With us now, Shohreh Aghdashloo, an Iranian actress and activist who's featured in a new movie called The Stoning of Soraya M. So you are from Iran, right? You got out pretty early, though, when you were a kid.
Born and raised until the age of 25.
Okay.
Yes.
At 25 you left?
Yes.
Okay. You can see President Obama's dilemma here. If he comes out in favor of the protesters, and most likely the protesters are going to be beaten down by the police state, would you agree with that, by the way?
Absolutely. To tell you the truth, I had the chance of getting myself educated in England and found my safe haven in the U.S. I have lived in a democratic societies for the last 30 years. And the first thing it taught me was not to jump into any conclusion before receiving the facts. And of course, in the absence of true media, rumors become the facts. And
sure.
Few things for fact that
so you want President Obama to be restrained right now, even though you want Iran to be free?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's walk through it for people who don't know much about the country as you do. So Obama has got to be careful, because there is some kind of a backdoor deal about Iran not intruding in Iraq right now. And in Afghanistan, they're not causing as much trouble as they could. So if the president jumps in and supports the protesters, that could all go haywire. So that's number one. Number two, in addition to the protesters, and let's use someone that voted, one was killed late this afternoon, who are all over Tehran, the capital, and they're really out in force. There are people supporting Ahmadinejad.
That's right.
He had a big rally, and tens of thousands of people showed up. So do you feel most Iranians have had it with the mullahs? They want freedom, or are they still supporting those people?
Well, when we're comparing the two together, with all due respect to Mr. Mousavi, we are ultimately doing a wrong thing, because for Iranians who do believe in a free Iran and wish to see Iran free with a secular government by the people, for the people, ultimately these are all very primitive steps that we are taking. And this is not what we wish for at the end. So, and we're far away to fetch what we hope.
All right, but my question, I think most Americans don't understand. Do you believe most of the Iranian people want some kind of democracy, or do they want to stay in the theocracy?
Well, the investigation on the votes will tell us. I was telling a friend that
you don't know
if it is true? What if it's true? What if really 62% voted for Mr. Ahmadinejad?
Oh,
that is even more scary.
That's bull. But you really, and I admire your honesty, you don't know.
We don't know.
Whether most Iranians want democracy or
although
theocracy.
From the bottom of my heart, I would love to say yes, it was a fraud.
I understand, and I appreciate your honesty, which is why you're here, because I don't know either. You know, I mean, and if most Iranians want to stay theocratic, that means under the mullah's rule, that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
It's going to take the majority to go and physically overthrow these people. They're not going to give up power peacefully. They're not. Okay, you made a movie, and in full disclosure, a friend of mine, Steve McAveety, produced the movie. About Iran and the atrocities that happen to women in that country, correct? And it did very well at the Toronto Film Festival. It's going to open up in the USA very shortly. Did very well up there. What's the main theme of this movie?
Well, the main thing is that there must be a way to put an end to this form of horrible, barbaric method of punishment. We have had audiences who've come to us and told us, we thought this happens in biblical time. We have no idea this was happening in 20th
You don't think the world
century.
knows that women are abused in the theocratic Muslim states?
Oh, the whole world knows, but they were not familiar with stoning, not at least many of our audience who watched the film.
You don't think they know about stoning?
They did not know.
You know, when I was in Kabul, in Afghanistan, we drove into the city, and against the concrete sides of the road, there were actually where they put the chains, where they chain people so they could stone them to death.
That's right.
I mean, you could see that.
That's
and they have that in Iran as well?
But then you're a great reporter. You get to go around the world.
That's
the rest
true.
of Americans
I see a lot
far
more.
away from what's happening in the Middle East and Europe, for that matter.
We wish the best for the Iranian people. We hope that they do overthrow this terrible government. Only they can do it. We can help. And the movie is The Stoning of Soraya M. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Mr.
Next on the run.